Hello, Tiffany.
Hi, Sarita.
Thank you for sharing your CHW story with us.
Sure.
So, we're going to start with who are you? Who is Tiffany Scott?
I am an African American woman. I am the daughter of Carolyn Rivers and Gary Rivers. I am a mom of Madison and Dylan. I'm a wife to Rob. I am a sister. I am an auntie. I am a servant. I am an evangelist. I am a friend. I'm a colleague. Um, I am a CHW. I'm a CHW instructor. Um, I'm a lot of things as I sit here and think about it. There's a lot of roles that I play in my life, but one role that I take very, very seriously is being a humble servant of the Lord.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, what do you do?
Oh, I do a lot of things. One of the main things that I do is that I am a CHW and CHW instructor master trainer. So I train CHWs not just locally, but nationally, all over. Um, I create curriculums and develop curriculums and infrastructure and oversight for organizations. And I still work as a CHW locally. I'm still feet to the pavement. I'm still going outside. I'm still going food pantries. I'm still doing all of that in the midst of work, doing a little bit more administrative work. I kind of do a little bit of both.
Great. Why does what you do matter?
I think what I do as an instructor matters because I think the best trainers and the best teachers are the ones that have walked the walk and talked the talk. I've been a CHW. I've been in some of the worst places that people would fear to go into. I've been into some of the projects. I've been into some of the places where I saw the police arresting people and still had to go and do that job. And so as I'm training CHWs, I can share real life experiences, not just for something that I've read out of the book. I've been there, I've done that. I've been with supervisors who wasn't necessarily that nice and didn't understand what we do. So I've been there working beside someone that's been on a grant funded and the grant ended and they no longer had a position. And so I think that's one of the things that I enjoy is training. But I think what I do matters is because I'm just able to show up in a way that others may not be able to do so.
I love that. What is your CHW story?
When I think of a CHW story, I can't really think of one of a story. I just know my grandparents were a CHW. They lived in the inner city. People could knock on the door, yell their name, and they could come in and get love. They could come in and get a plate of food. They could come in and shower, wash their clothes. My mom, the same thing. Family members lived with us as they were in rehab or they lost their housing and had to come and live with us. So I think just being a CHW was a part of my DNA, was a part of who I am. I wanted to be a social worker initially, and I realized that wasn't going to give me what I do every day. And so once I became a CHW, I felt fulfilled. I felt like I was doing God's will and I was doing something that I was taught to do was to love my brother and to love my sister.
That is so awesome. What influenced you or who, and how did you become a community health worker?
Funny how I became a community health worker again. Like I said, I've always been a community health worker just from family, but I was working in the Department of Social Services, and my supervisor ticked me off. He made me extremely upset, and I said, I'm gonna start applying for jobs. And I began to apply for a job. It said community health worker. Didn't know what that was. Applied, went to the interview. Didn't know necessarily that I wanted the job. And so something the interviewer said, it made me say, "This is what I'm already doing." And I can get paid for it. And that's kind of how I was introduced to the CHW profession. And from my very first day at work, it was like a light or a ding, a bell, like something resonated with me and said, okay, this is where I need to be. And this is it. And I've been there ever since.
That was truly inspiring, Tiffany. I'd like to thank you so much for sharing your CHW story with us, and we look forward to hearing more from you soon.
Thank you.